Last one.
Last one. Blondie. My favorite win. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm gonna tell y'all something, but y'all gotta keep it a secret, okay? You can't be like telling nobody else. Alright? So, my favorite win was in the summer between my junior and senior year. I was wrestling in practice, and I was wrestling my coach, Coach Kale, and I had never wrestled him, or I'd never beaten him before. I mean, I'd wrestled him since I got there, and he would always smoke me, like, especially when I was a freshman, because as a freshman I was 174, and then I finally decided, and then I moved up to 184, and then I finally moved up to 197 my senior year. So I got a little bit bigger. I was weighing like 200 pounds, and we were wrestling. So every Friday we do matches, like full matches with a ref and stuff. It's like the real deal. And I finally beat him in like a really close match. It was like 8-7 or something like that. And this had been 4 years in the making, almost 5 years in the making of me wrestling him, trying to beat him. And I finally beat him right then. And at that point I was like so happy, especially because, I mean, it doesn't really count because it's not like a real match with, like, in a real tournament, but it was real to me. And so I got one on him there, and ever since then we kind of go back and forth and stuff, but that's probably my favorite match that I've won, and it's not even like in competition or anything. So.
Alright, before we continue this video, I just want to say, make sure you guys check out some of my other videos on this channel. I have a lot of cool things that I've done over the summer, and a lot of cool things I've done in the past. I've been doing YouTube for 2 years, so make sure you check out a video. Make sure you like this video and also subscribe. I appreciate it. My next goal is 5K subscribers. I think it's really dope though what Bo Nickal has to say and how he answers the questions. It really opened my mindset towards wrestling and just looking at it a different way. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Let's continue with the video.
Alright, first question. Right here.
How often would you work out?
How often do I work out? That's a great question. So usually I work out about 7 times a week, I would say. So, but it's not once every day. So I work out Monday, Tuesday, I do morning workout and an afternoon workout. Wednesday I take off typically to recover, but I still do like yoga or something like that, or some type of recovery. And then I work out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I take off Sunday. So yeah, a few workouts, but 2 recovery days a week usually. Yep.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'1".
Where was your first tournament?
The first tournament I ever wrestled in was in Colorado. I was born in Colorado. My dad was a high school wrestling coach there, and so I started wrestling when I was about 5. Did some tournaments over there.
For cradles, what's your most recommended grip?
The one that I showed you guys today. Definitely. Yeah, right here.
Alright. Do you do intermittent fasting when cutting weight?
Intermittent fasting. That's a good question. When I'm cutting weight, sometimes I'll do that. My strength conditioning coach and nutritionist has recommended that for me. Normally I do like 12 hours, so 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. So that's not like super long, but maybe work up to 14 sometimes. But yeah, I have dabbled in that a little bit.
Who are your training partners at Penn State?
My training partners at Penn State. I have like the best wrestling room in the world, honestly. So I train with my coaches, Coach Kale, Coach Casey, Jake Varner, David Taylor, Kyle Snyder, Jason Knoll, Zane Rutherford. I mean, I could keep going on. And I wrestle with small guys too. I wrestle with Roman Bravo Young. Big guys, I wrestle with Anthony Cassar. Plus all the Penn State guys, I'll wrestle with Aaron Brooks and Carter Strachey, and there's a ton of guys that I get to be partners with. So.
What was your high school GPA?
4.0, I think. It might have been like 3.99. It was right around there.
What's your go-to wrestling?
Go-to wrestling move? Yeah, probably cradle. Hit a lot of cradles in college. I really like cradles a lot. Back there, yeah. Lefty high C, maybe ankle pick. One of those two. Yeah. How many medals? I don't even know, man. I stopped keeping track a while ago, probably like when I was in high school. But yeah, a lot.
Did you do good on your first, like the first tournament you ever did, first competition?
I think I did okay. I think I won a couple matches, but I also think I lost, so I didn't win it. But yeah, I growing up, I lost a lot, and I don't think it should be like, you know, something that people are worried about, winning and losing and stuff. You just try to do your best, be the best you can, and that's all you can really control, you know. At the end of the day, you don't control the scoreboard, you just control your effort and your attitude. So yeah, I mean, as far as winning and losing goes, just do your best, and that'll take care of itself. I am from Allen, Texas, so I went to high school in Allen. That's where I claim as like home, but right now I live in State College, PA. I still live at Penn State, right behind me. Yeah.
So you showed us your go-to move from top and from neutral. What would you do from bottom?
From bottom, I don't really like bottom as much. I just get away. I don't know. For me, bottom, like, there's not really moves. Like, you just get away. So I think in college, the longest I ever got held down for was maybe like 15 seconds. So you just don't let them hold you down.
How do you overcome, like someone who's really good at the practice, and they step out on the mat and they choke out? What would you, how would you?
Yeah, I mean, that's interesting. I think that if you wrestle really well in practice and you're not competing that well, you're probably focused on the wrong things. You're probably worried a lot about winning and losing, and worried about what other people think of you and stuff like that, because obviously practice doesn't really count and the matches do. So maybe you're just putting too much pressure on yourself, too much negative pressure. And so for me, when I deal with that, I just like to focus on what I want. So focus on going out there, wrestling my best, wrestling the way that I know how, and also just being grateful for the opportunity. So instead of focusing on like, oh man, this is such a big match and I hope I don't lose and I really want to win, just be thankful that you get the chance to even go out and compete, because, you know, while you're young and healthy and, you know, able to train all day and compete in tournaments all the time, like, that's such a cool opportunity. You know, you don't really get that opportunity your whole life, and at some point you're going to have to stop wrestling and you're going to move on to other things. You know, all of us, same with me, but it's just about enjoying those moments and making the most of what you got right in that moment. So I would say, you know, just focus on gratitude, focus on your effort, and just having fun rather than winning and losing.
How would you say your mindset changed before you went to Penn State as compared to now?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I learned so much at Penn State. I honestly am so grateful that I chose to go there. It was one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, and I feel like before I got there, I focused a lot on what I was just talking about. I was always focused on like what other people thought, and I was worried about losing, and I really wanted to win. And obviously, like, everybody wants to win, and nobody likes losing. Like, losing sucks, and winning's great. But I realized that, you know, the sport of wrestling and me myself, like God loves me regardless of whether I win or lose, and I'm valued regardless of whether I win or lose. So for me, it's just about, at that point, going out and putting my best effort out on the mat and doing everything I can to be the best I can be, because God's given me all these amazing gifts and all this opportunity to compete, and great role models and people around me. So I just want to go out there and do the best I can with that and make the most of it. And at the end of the day, if I win, great. If I lose, great, because I know I got better and I know I did everything I could to be the best I could be. Before a big match, that's like my favorite. I love big matches. Honestly, like, that's like why I like get up every morning, because I just love that excitement and that feeling of, you know, that nervous butterflies of being able to go on the mat, because then I'm like I know I'm alive. Like, I was born to do this, and it's just like exciting to be able to do that in front of a big crowd. And my goal is to always go out on the mat and do something that's like crazy that nobody's ever seen before, and like they'll probably never see again. And just like all the training and hard work that I put in, go just showcase that and share that with everybody else. Like, all the people in the crowd, all my coaches, like, now I get to showcase this and share it with them, and they get to see like kind of a little glimpse of everything that I've been working towards and kind of just put it out in a moment, like in the match. And so like that's like the most exciting thing for me is to be able to do that, and I love it. I really embrace that. Yeah, in the back. I've never wrestled Ken Churchill. Actually, maybe like when I was little, he did like a clinic or something like that. But I think he like beat up a bunch of the little kids. He was like slamming them and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Yep.
But when did you first realize that you wanted to keep wrestling throughout?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So I think there were different moments in my career and stuff when I like had different realizations. So after my sophomore year in high school, well, I always knew I wanted to wrestle in the Olympics, right? Since I was probably 8 years old, I was like, I would write down goals, and like one of those was to be an Olympic gold medalist. And so I had that goal from a young age. But when I first got serious about it was probably my sophomore year of high school, when I decided that I wasn't going to play football anymore, because I'd played football my whole life growing up until then. And I decided that after that year that I was just going to focus strictly on wrestling. And so I was like way more committed at that point. And then when I got to college, I first started doing school, and I was majoring in kinesiology, and my plan was to go to like med school or chiropractic school or something like that. Because my dad's a wrestling coach, and he always told me, he's like, you can't be a wrestling coach, like you're too smart, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, I didn't get that. I was just like, okay, Dad, that's weird. But he was just like, you need to go and like be a lawyer or something, or a doctor. And I was like, okay. So for the first 2 years of college, I planned on doing that. And then about halfway through, I was like, I love wrestling too much. Like, wrestling is so awesome and so fun. And I feel like at this point, I've worked hard enough and I'm good enough that I can make a career out of it. So that was like another like realization, but kind of a couple different moments. So yeah. Favorite dual meet moment? There's so many, man. Penn State while I was in school. There's a couple things that I'm really proud of. I feel like for me, while I was at Penn State, like I'm way more proud of the things that we accomplished as a team, and than the things that I accomplished myself, because it's so much harder to do that with a team. And so, as far as duels, as far as things that were pretty cool about while I was at Penn State, we never lost a duel. We were undefeated in duels. And the other thing I'm really proud of is that I never missed a single match, not for injury or sickness or anything. So for my whole college career, I never missed one match. And I think that's just because I love the sport so much, and I took care of my body and stuff. So I'm proud of those two things. But as far as favorite moments, we had some pretty big matches, like against Ohio State, Oklahoma State, Iowa. And it seemed like in a lot of those matches, like one in particular would be Oklahoma State. My sophomore year, I was wrestling a guy. He was like top 5 in the country, and we had lost like the first few matches, and so we were down. And it basically like kind of came down to my match in the duel. Like I had to win, or else we couldn't win the duel. And I remember this guy. He couldn't like help himself but shoot. Like he just shot. He was one of those dudes that just shoot like every second. Like whistle blows, he shoot. And so me and Coach Kale, we planned this thing where we knew he was going to shoot, and so I was going to do this move and I was going to cradle him. And it basically worked out exactly as planned. It was so sick, and I pinned him in like 30 seconds. And I looked up and I just like saw Coach Kale, and I was like, I just pointed at him because we worked it like the whole week leading up to that match. And I was like, and he was like, I was like, that was just so cool, just because, you know, to kind of see that happening before it happened, and then be able to do it on the match in front of like 10,000 people, and the crowd, like, it was at Oklahoma State, so the crowd went like mad quiet. That was just, it was cool. It was fun.
I know you had like people that were like scared to wrestle you, like, you know, how you wrestle conservative. So what do you do to like still get the win but not risk yourself like getting pinned?
Yeah, I feel like it happens, man. I mean, wrestling is one of those sports where as you build your reputation, as you wrestle more matches and you wrestle a certain style, like people are aware of that, and so they get nervous to wrestle you and stuff. And so for me, at first I would get frustrated because I want to pin every single guy I wrestle. Like that's the ultimate thing in wrestling. Hey, guys, back down.
Hey, back off the stage. Ramiro, keep him off the stage.
And so, anyways, I would get frustrated at first because I'm like, this dude just wants to freaking stall the whole time and wants me to just like like guys like celebrate when I beat them by like 10 points. I'm like, dude, what is that? Like, I don't know. I could just never do that, and I don't relate to it at all. And so I would get mad at first. I would be mad at them. But then it changed from, my perspective changed from being angry at them to just kind of embracing the challenge and me being like, okay, that's how it's going to be? No worries. Like, I got to figure it out anyways. Like, no excuses. Play like a champion. Like, that's it. So I don't care what this guy's doing. Like, I'm going to go try to throw him down and pin him no matter what. And so my wrestling style and how I compete doesn't change based on how my opponent's wrestling and whether he wants to back up and stuff. Because at the end of the day, like, if he's backing up and doesn't want to actually scrap, then he already lost the match. Like, I don't know, I just couldn't do that. So for me, it's an extra challenge to be able to pin guys that do that, pin guys that really don't want to wrestle me. It makes it that much harder on me, and that's fun. So because I like the challenge. What's that?
What was your favorite match at the Olympic trials?
Well, definitely not the ones I lost. So yeah, those sucked. Those were not my favorite. I mean, I had 3 good matches there. Got to wrestle my teammate Carter Strachey, which kind of sucked. So I didn't like that too much either because I don't want to. He's a college guy, and I try to like be a leader to him, and so it's hard to wrestle guys like that. But then got to wrestle Pat Downey, and then I wrestled the match with Zahid. Was really fun. So it was back and forth. Zahid's obviously a tough competitor, so I enjoyed wrestling him a lot. We'll do one more. He's been holding his hand up for a while. The most weight I had to cut. Well, when I was your age, none. Don't cut weight. Cutting weight is lame. If you're in college or you're wrestling in college and you got to cut a little bit, you got to do what you got to do. But youth guys, stay away from that and just be healthy, get strong, do your push-ups, do your pull-ups. We talked about that already, I think. Where's my guy at? He's the one that does. Yeah, there he is. Do your pull-ups. Anyways, but yeah, just get big, eat, and don't cut weight. But yeah, I think that's it. So.